Hi everyone, it's Ashley from T-Shirt Stories. Welcome back to our channel. Today we have a very exciting video planned. We are doing our well-anticipated question and answers. So we reached out to all of you through various platforms asking you to send us any sort of questions that you have relating to children, and we got a great response. I have the questions in front of me now. Just a little disclaimer before we jump into it. The recommendations or suggestions that I'm giving may be a different approach or method to what you'd recommend doing at home. Obviously, we all have a different rhyme and reason of what we do with our little ones, and that's totally fine. We are coming from an early childhood education perspective. You can be coming from a different method that you've learned. At the end of the day, we'll have the same outcome of just wanting the best for our little ones. Let's jump into it. Okay, so I tried to categorize the different questions into similar topics just so we can get a bit of a variety. Our first question is about speech development. How do I get my toddler to talk? Tools, techniques, speech delay, etc., etc. So a lot of moving parts to this question. What's important to clarify is that every child develops their speech at their own rate. Some children will start talking as early as 10 to 12 months. Other children bloom a little bit later in their speech, and that's okay too. One thing's for sure, if you're ever questioning your child's speech and language development, please take them to a speech therapist and have things assessed. Even if you're not worried about your child's speech development, do it anyways. Take your child to a speech therapist. I always recommend this to all families. It's only to benefit your child, and the speech therapist will really help you tick off those boxes to see if your child is on the right track with their speech and give those tips and tricks that are personalized to your child. All that to say, we don't want to leave you hanging, so here are a few little tips and tools that you can try with your child at home. These are methods from speech therapists, and we've implemented these things at T-Shirt Stories, and it's worked really well, so give it a go with your child. Repetition is key. Hearing a word or phrase once just won't cut it. For language to start making sense, your toddler has to hear the same words or phrases repeatedly. Using adult words as opposed to baby words. For example, if your child says wawa for water, reinforce the efforts while making the proper pronunciation clear. That's right, baby, water. Of course, reading is a given. Even if your toddler doesn't know all the words, pointing at pictures as you say the words can help your child comprehend vocabulary. I can make a whole video about speech development with speech therapist recommendations. Let me know if you're interested in that. Moving right along, our next question is regarding potty training. How to encourage my child to want to potty training tips for a stubborn child, and when is a good age to start. I will be making a more comprehensive video about potty training in the near future, just because there is a lot of information to unpack, and with the summer, warmer weather, less layers to wear, it is a really good time to do potty training. But to sum things up in a nutshell, I would definitely say patience, consistency, and you cannot force your child to be potty trained. It has to be on their own will. When you're forcing them to potty train, you're going to run into a whole lot of power struggle issues, frustration. At T-Shirt Stories, it's kind of a no-brainer because the children are seeing other children using the toilet and they're building that interest. Whereas at home, it's a little bit harder. Maybe they don't have siblings or they're not able to see their friends in action. So how do you build that interest with potty training at home? Potty training books. You're going to want some of these. They have ones specifically for boys and girls, or gender neutral ones, of course, but this is such a simple yet effective way to build that interest to try. And you can give it to your child to read as they're on the potty seat. The next one is a super fun potty training seat, such as this one that I'm about to show you that I'm pretty obsessed with. Look how cute this is. It's a real life mini toilet. Children love role modeling, so this one's awesome because it's the real thing and they see mommy and daddy using it. But if you do not have a potty training seat, that's totally fine. You can build interest around the actual toilet, put a bucket of toys, a bookshelf, create the interest spot around your real toilet to navigate your child to that spot. The next question is about alleviating destructive and aggressive behaviors. For example, wrecking furniture, screaming, having attitude, or
being disrespectful or impolite, hitting, biting, throwing things, temper tantrum.
The list can go on. Terrible 2s, terrible 3s, terrible 4. Okay, so if you are experiencing any of these behaviors with your children, I do really recommend bringing it up with your child's teacher. At Two Short Stories, as many of you know, we do parent-teacher conferences, and this is a great chance to compare and contrast if these behavioral issues are happening at school and at home. If that's the case, you know, we can pinpoint the root cause of the problem and solve that. 4 out of 5 times, I'm not a resource consultant, just speaking off childcare experience here, but more oftentimes than not, if we solve that root cause of the problem, and then it kind of alleviates the behavioral issue. If it still doesn't, then you know there could be an underlying cause that needs to be reassessed and worked on. So let's quickly skim over some tips and tricks that you can try that might work with your child to alleviate and calm down some of this aggression. Recognizing good behavior. Usually if a child's acting out or doing something they should not be doing, we are so quick to kind of attack it and accentuate it and be like, hey, look, you're doing this, stop doing that. Kind of flip the switch and highlight what they're doing positive. If you focus too much on the negative, they're gonna look for that reaction and go to that when they want a response from you. If you ignore that bad behavior and only highlight their good behavior, they're more prone to only doing good so that they get that positive feedback or reinforcement. It will basically give your child less of an incentive to act up and be aggressive. Recognizing and validating your child's feelings. It's okay to be angry and upset, but the actions behind it are not. So if your child's feeling angry, talk about why they're angry and what we can do to alleviate that anger. Instead of, oh, I'm angry, let's rip a couch. Oh, I'm angry, let's calm our body on a beanbag chair. Or let's calm our body reading a book. Okay, the last question we'll be covering today is about increasing your child's attention span, getting them to pay attention, stay focused, etc. I love this question. Who doesn't love a child that can pay attention for ample amount of time? Just kidding, a rare commodity. But there are a few ways that you can increase your child's attention span and get them to self-regulate so that they can focus a little longer on those activities. For children, 5 minutes can feel like 5 hours, so be conscious of that and know their time limits. Encourage independent play or quiet time. This takes some practice, but once your child gets the hang of it, everyone reaps the benefits. You can start this by giving your child their favorite toys to play with, joining them for 5 minutes, then leaving them to do their own thing. The last tip is extending your child's learning by adding new materials. This is a common practice used in childcare. Right before your child looks like they're about to move on, add some new materials, and that will easily refresh the activity and allow them to maintain focus on what they're doing. Alrighty, that's about all the time we have for today. If I didn't get to your question, I promise I will address it to you directly or in our next question and answer video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big ol' thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you can get notified every time one of our amazing staff from Two Short Stories posts a video. We also have an amazing Instagram page you can check out for more amazing content. Until next time, we'll see you soon.